Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuf Nun Aleph, Amud Aleph. 3 lines from the bottom at the new Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Oisin kol tzarchei hameis. We do all of the things for the mace on Shabbos. Sachin umedichin oisoi. We rub oil on the body of the mace, and we also wash the mace. It shouldn't become putrefied. Ubilvad shelo yaziz boy aver, providing that we do not move an aver of the mace. Since the mace itself is intrinsically muktzah machmas gufoi, so too therefore the aver also cannot be moved. So not only the entire body, but any aver of the body can also be moved on Shabbos. Shoimtin es hakar mitachtov, we may remove the pillow or the mattress beneath the mace. And place the mace through removing the car from underneath it, so it's on a cool ground. Because when it's on top of the car, it can become sweat and heated up and can putrefy the body. By allowing it to be on the cold ground, it's able to then stay better. We're on top of Kuf Nun Aleph Amud Beis. The Mishnah continues, Koishrin es halechi. We may tie the jaw. However, lo sheyale ela shelo yosif. Not that it should put the jaw back in its original place, but rather only to keep it from then becoming more and more opened. In other words, by closing the jaw, that would also be a problem of being metalta the muktzah. V'chein koira shenishbara. Here the Gemara brings a related halacha, not in regards to the mace, but it says, if you have a beam that is broken, a beam of the roof that is broken, you may support it with a bench or the leg of a bed, which is considered to be a kli, and since there are kalim, you can metaltal them. However, just like we said by the jaw, you cannot put it in a way that's going to then cause the beam to go back into place. That will be a malacha of boine on Shabbos. Instead, you can just prevent it from them becoming more and more broken. So you can support it, and that's what one can do, but not more than that. Says the Gemara, asking the following question, V'omer Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. Behold, Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, he asked the following, because after all, we said you can take a mace and you can oil up the mace on Shabbos. So he brings the following, Maise betalmido sheRabbi Meir, shenichnas achor lebeis hamerchatz. There's a maise of a talmid that followed his Rabbi Meir into the Beis HaMerchatz. Presumably Rabbi Meir wanted to take a cold bath on Shabbos. And it says, Bikesh lahadiach karka. The talmid wanted it to then rinse the floor. Or marloi emadichin. Rabbi Meir told him, you cannot rinse the floor. Losuch karka. He wanted to rub the stones, the ground, with oil to make it better smelling. Or marloi ein sachin. Rabbi Meir tells him, you cannot go ahead and rub oil on the ground. So until now, he's thinking that the reason is because, after all, since you may move the karka, you might move stones, it's a problem of tiltul muktzah, so that's why you cannot rub oil on it. So he's asking if that's this case, and so too when it comes to rubbing oil on a dead body. Answers the Gemara, no. Karka bekarka machlafa, mace bekarka lo mechalaf. No, over here the reason Rabbi Meir said that you cannot oil the karka is because even though this karka, we said, is even, is stones, and therefore there's not a problem in mashve gumois, but he said you might come to then mashve gumois in other karka. So he prohibited for him to then rub oil on this karka. But when it comes to rubbing oil on the goof of a mace, there's not a concern that he'll go ahead and rub, he'll go ahead and make a distinction, make a mistake and rub oil on a karka to be mashve gumois. So therefore, that's not a concern, and that's why the Mishnah says one can, yes, rub oil on the body. Ask the Gemara, Kol la'asuye mai. Our Mishnah started out by saying you can do kol tzarchei hameis on Shabbos. What does kol come to include? Says the Gemara, like it says in the following brayse, the Tonu Rabbanon, Mevin kli mekar ukli matochos umeinichen al kreisoi kadesh lo tafuach. One may bring cold kalim, like glass, or like metal kalim, and may put it on the stomach of the mace, so that it should not become swelled up. Upoikikin as nekov of kadesh tikanes behen haruach. And he can go ahead and he can plug the orifices of the mace so that wind does not come in and also swell up, mafiach the body. Va'af Shlomo Omar b'chachmos, even Shlomo in his chachma related this as well. He says, Ad asher lo yerosek, before yerosek chevel hakesef, before the silver rope snaps, Zechut Hashidra, referring to the Chut Hashidra, referring to the spine. V'teirutz Gulas Hazav, and the golden bowl will break. Ze'ama, this refers to the Amma, because Gulas, Rashi explains, is Kamo Goylos Mayim. And just like a water source, so too the Amma, the Aver of a person, also has a source of Zera. And some explain Hazov is also a reference to Zov, that it comes out from that Amma. V'tishover kad al hamabua. The pasuk goes on to say, and he will break a jug at its foundation. Zehakeres, referring to the stomach. V'norotz hagalgal El Habor, and he'll smash the galgal on the bore. Zeh peresh. This refers to the excrement. V'chein hu oimer. That's what it says also in the pasuk. V'zireisi peresh al pneichem, peresh chagechem. I shall scatter the peresh on your faces, the peresh of your chagim. Omer Rav Huna v'amrei la amrei Rav Chano. Elu b'nei Adam, these are the people shemenichin divrei Torah v'osin kol yemeihem kechagim. These are people who are menichim, the word perish from the word paresh. They desisted from divrei Torah all of their days, and instead they use those days as chagim to celebrate and indulge in physical pleasure. Omar Rabbi Levi, Omar Rabbi Popi, Omar Rabbi Yoshua. After 3 days of a person's death, his stomach opens and the peresh then falls on his face. And it says to him, Toil mashenosata bi, take what you gave to me. The Mishnah now continues speaking about dealing with a mace on Shabbos. One shall not close the eyes of the mace on Shabbos, again because it will be a tiltul muktzah. Even during the week, if the person is a goyses and he's on the brinks of dying, one cannot close his eyes either, because the slightest movement can cause his death to become even premature, even earlier. And therefore, somebody who does close the eyes of a goyses is considered to be shoifech damim, a murderer. Tanu Rabban, the Gemara brings a brayso. One who closes the eyes, we're talking about even during the week, he closes the eyes of the goyses, he's called a shoifech damim. Mashal lener shekova v'hoylechas. It's a mashal of a candle that is going out. It's on its way out. You have this lamp that's burning and now it goes out. It's on its way out. It's so sensitive that a person would have put its finger on it. Miyad kafsa, immediately it goes out. So too when it comes to the goyses, a person does any type of movement of the body of the goyses, he has the ability to then cause the neshama to leave this goyses and cause him to die earlier than he would have. Tanya, the Gemara brings a brayse. A person does want to close the eyes of a dead person. What should he do? Nofeach loy yayin b'choitmoi. He says the way one can do it in the following fashion. He can blow wine in the nostrils of the dead person, v'noisen shemen ben risei einov, and he could put oil between the eyelashes, v'oiches b'shnei gudolei raglov, and he can then squeeze the big toes of both feet, v'hein mas'at me'alin, and the eyes will close on their own. Tanya says the Gemara weiter, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Oimer, describing the difference between one who is alive and one who is dead. Tinoik ben yoimoy chai, a child who is just 1 day old. Mechalin al Isal Shabbos. We're able to then mechal the Shabbos to save that life. David Melech Yisrael Meis. Ein mechalin al Isal Shabbos. David Melech who's dead, we do not mechal Shabbos. The Gemara in our Masechta brought earlier that Shlomo HaMelech had the following 2 queries to the Sanhedrin. It was Shabbos, and he said, my father is dead. Can I move him? Second question was, can I go ahead and cut up meat to give to Klovim? The Sanhedrin responded, the meat you can cut up to give Klovim, but you cannot move your father. He's muktzah. To which Shlomo HaMelech said, better is the live kelev than the Ari Hames. The Ari referring to his father, the lion. So here we see that one can mechalo Shabbos for a tinok ben yomoy, but not for a melech Yisrael who's mace. More explains the Gemara, tinok ben yomoy chai mechal alesa Shabbos because Amar Torah chalil aleh alav Shabbos achas kedei sheyishmor Shabbos harbe. Mechalil one Shabbos, whereby you have the potential to then be shomer many Shabbosos. David Melech Yisrael meis ein mechal nalov kivan shemeis adam bato mina mitzvahs. Since a person dies, he's no longer able to perform mitzvahs. V'hainu de'amar Rabbi Yochanan, and that is what Rabbi Yochanan stated. B'meisim chofshi. The pasuk says meisim are free. He explains, Kivan shemeis adam naseh chafshi mina mitzvahs. Since a person dies, he's now free from the mitzvahs. He can no longer perform mitzvahs. He no longer has a bechira to then perform any mitzvah. V'tanya, it says in the Brayser, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Oimer, Tinoik ben yoimoy chai ein sorich l'shomer min achudo min achaborim. A 1 day old child who's alive, you do not have to protect him from rodents. They're afraid of him. Aval oig melech haboshon meis tzorich l'shomer min achudo min achborim. When it comes to even the giant melech oig haboshon, if he's dead, you would have to protect him from even a mouse. Shenemar says in the pasuk, morachem v'chitchem yeh. The fear and the trembling will be on the animals. They'll be afraid of people. Kozman she'adam chai. So long as the person is alive, he's chai, then his fear is on the brios, meaning on the animals. Here the Gemara is making a drush of the word chitchem. It's chiyuschem, your chiyus, your life. That is going to cause ema on the animals. Kivan shemeis batla emasa. But once he's dead, then that ema, that fear, is also no longer. Amra Papa Niktinon. We have a Masara, says Rav Papa. Arye abetre lo nofil. An Arye, a lion, does not pounce on 2 people. Ask the Gemara Hakachazina de nofil. We do find that an Arye, a lion, does pounce on more than 1 person. He says, no, Ha'ukid Rami bar Abba. The Omer Rabbi bar Abba ein chaye sholetes ba'odam asher nidma lo kebehema. A animal does not shoylate on a person unless he appears to him as being an animal. Shenemar, he brings a posuk, Adam Bikir, Adam who was Yokar, he is with his glory, Bal Yalin, Nimshal Kebehemos Nidmu. Here it says that he's Nimshal Kebehemos Nidmu. Here we have a play on the word Nimshal. Normally this word as compared to Behemos, but here it says that they're Nimshal. Nimshal v'loshen of, they're ruled like the behemos when they are compared, when they're seen as behemos. And the Mefarshim explain, it doesn't mean that the animal perceives the human being as an animal. It means that the person loses his his zechus of Adam because of his averos, and therefore he doesn't have the shmira of Adam, whereby he appears, so to speak, he loses that greatness of Adam, that selim Elokim, whereby the animal then can pounce and then rule over him. Rav Chanina, asur lisham bebeis yechidi. He says it's prohibited for a person to sleep alone. V'kol hayashim bebeis yechidi, somebody who sleeps in a house alone, achzasu leilis. He says there's a certain type of shade that is shoylet on him. V'tanya, Rabbi Shimon Elazar Omer, asay ad she'ata moitzei. Do give tzedakah ad she'ata moitzei to somebody you are able to do and give tzedakah to. Umatzui lecha v'oitcha b'yodcha. And that which is found to you, which means you have money, the resources to then give tzedakah, while you're still alive and you're not dead. Shlomo Omar b'chachmas, and this is what Shlomo also said in his wisdom. V'zachar es baracha b'mei b'churosecha. Remember your Creator in your youth. Ad asher lo yavo yemei hara. Before the days of Ra come. Explains the Gemara, Eilu, what are these days of Ra? Eilu yemei zikna. V'hiyu shanim asher toimar ein li bohem chayfetz. And the years will come where you will say, I do not have any desire in them. Eilu yemei hamashiach. These are the times of Mashiach. She'ein bahem lo zechus v'choiva. You'll give tzedakah, everybody will ashirim, and you won't have a zechus because nobody needs your tzedakah. You will not give tzedakah. You'll hold back. It won't be a choy because everybody's an ashir. Upliga d'Shmuel. This argues on Shmuel because this says that the days of Mashiach there will not be poverty. Yet Shmuel says the days of Mashiach will be like our current days. That's going to be the only difference. There won't be a shibud of the Malchios. Taxation and other things that the Malchios will then, what they currently do, and they have their influence on Klal Yisrael. But otherwise, in terms of the natural existence that we have today, that'll be the same way in Yemos HaMashiach, according to Shmuel. Shneimar, it says, Ki lo yechdal evyon mikerev haaretz. They will not desist even the impoverished, the evyon, from being amongst your land. In other words, those who are destitute will also exist in times of Mashiach. Tanya the Gemara brings a brayser, Rabbi Elazar HaKapar Omer, La'olam yevakesh odom rachamim al midazu. When it comes to poverty, a person should always ask Hakadosh Baruch Hu not to bring him poverty. She'im hu loy ba b'no, because if he is not impoverished, if he does not become poor, then his son may become poor. V'im b'noi loy ba ben b'noi ba, and if his son does not become poor, his grandson may become poor. Shneimar says in the pasuk, I'll read the entire verse. It says, "Nosain titein lo," you shall surely give, referring to the ani. V'lo yeira levavcha besitcha lo, and your heart should not be ra in giving to the destitute. Ki beglal hadavar hazeh yivrach Hashem Elokecha b'chol ma'asecha v'chol ma'ishlach yodecha. Because of this matter, Hakadosh Baruch Hu will bless you. Says the Gemara, Ki beglal hadavar hazeh, because of this matter of you giving tzedakah to poor people. B'tan de Bebi Shmuel, Galgal hu shechoyzeh. He makes a drasha that says, Ki beglal hadavar hazeh, because of this matter you're giving tzedakah to the destitute, to the poor. So he says, Biglal is lashon of galgal, a wheel that is choyzeh ba'olam, that returns in the world. It's cyclical. And therefore, again, if one does himself become poor, his child may become poor. If his child does not become poor, his grandson can become poor. And therefore, always, la'olam yevakesh rachamim, on parnasa, that one should not become poor, so that it does not then become visited upon him, or his son, or his grandson. Om Rav Yosef nekitninan, we have a Mesora haitzur b'mirabon l'me'ani. A Talmid Chacham does not become poor. Ay v'ha kachazina d'me'ani, we find a Talmid Chacham that does become poor. Im isa d'me'ani, no, if he becomes poor, ahadure apischa l'mahadre, he would not then have to knock on doors. Because, after all, people then want to then give him money and support him, and he'll be able to then live and have parnasa from other people without having to solicit from door to door. Omar lo, Rabbi Chia Lidvisu, Rabbi Chia says to his wife, Ki osi anya agdimu leirifto, ki heichi delikadmu leponecho. When poor people come to the door, precede them by giving them bread right away, so that your own children should not also have a problem, and others should then precede them by giving them bread. Omrole, so his wife said to him, Milat kolaitis lahu, are you going to then curse them? You're going to curse our children that they're going to be poor, that they're going to have to then seek out to get bread? Omar lo, he said to her, it's not me, krokasiv, it's a posuk. Ki beglal hadavar zeh. The posuk that we brought before, V'tan de Bebi Shmuel, galgel hu shechoyze ba'olam. Says Gemara weiter, Tanya Rabbi Gamaliel b'Rabbi Omer, v'nosan lecha rachamim v'chamecha v'hirbecha. The pasuk says, v'nosan lecha rachamim, and Hashem shall give you rachamim, mercy, v'richamcha, and be merciful to you, v'hirbecha, and He shall increase you. From here we learn that kol merachem ala briyos, all that have racham, compassion, mercy on others, meracham min Allah min hashomayim, then min hashomayim they'll be merciful to you, mida keneged mida. However, also there's the opposite. V'chol she'eino merachem al habriyos, a merachem Allah min hashomayim.